Keep the habit, shake the habit.
That's it.
Oh my god. It's the greatest video I've ever seen.
Oh boy.
I love it.
I'll never look at a grapefruit the same way again.
Oh god, no. He'll be wondering, why haven't I been fucking grapefruits this whole time? Everybody do yourself a favor. Look up the angel grapefruit trick video.
No.
Oh my god,
No.
it's so funny. It's one of my favorite videos, man. Seriously. It's right up there with cake farts. It's right up there with cake farts. It's so good. Angel, she knows her shit.
She does.
She does. Welcome back!
Welcome back
to the Power Trip Gaming Power Blowjob Cast.
I had to go grab more alcohol.
There's not enough alcohol in the world for this day, boys. Yes, Power Trip Gaming Powercast. Now you're listening with Power. Wow. How you doing?
Wow, I'm doing okay. I'm doing
Yeah?
okay. Yeah.
How about you, Kevin? I was life.
It was fine until we started this.
Oh,
Yeah.
come on. You loved it, you know.
No, all of a sudden I've got a headache.
Yeah.
I
start second guessing all life decisions as soon as we start talking.
Yep.
I'm gonna go home and get grapefruited, so I don't know what you guys are doing after this.
All right. Moving on. Moving on.
Yes. All right. Nothing new with you. Well, there's really not much new with me either, I guess. However, I do have something I want to talk about right away. I know we've kind of talked about this before on the channel, but some of our biggest letdowns in gaming, right?
Okay.
So, as we're recording this, well, I suppose I should put a date on it. It's June 12th, by the way, for when I'm recording this, because Lord knows it takes me forever to put out a fucking Powercast episode. Kevin and I bought a game recently that we were severely disappointed in.
Oh.
And it kind of brought back bad memories of like when we got MVC3.
What
after all the hype.
What game are you talking about?
Biomutant. I'm pretty sure you remember us talking about it every so often on the channel.
Biomutant.
Biomutant for the PS4.
I honestly do not.
It shows you how much he listens to us.
Yeah.
But anyway, there was
It sounds bad though.
it was
Like you expected something good out of something called
it was a really good premise, and really like the stuff they showed for it looked really good, really fascinating. Like you're a little fuzzy creature with a sword, and you shoot stuff and magic spells, and it was really.
Do you? He is adorable. Do you remember a game on the PlayStation called Biofreaks?
I know it in name only.
That's the fighting
Exactly. You expected more with Biomutants?
game. Oh, yeah, the N64 game, yes.
Oh, it was N64.
Wow,
Oh, there it
Paul
is.
didn't even know.
I thought it was PlayStation.
Didn't even know his own reference. Nice
Nope.
job.
Didn't.
Sweet.
See? No, actually, guess what?
Oh,
Point
Proves your
made.
point. Yes.
Apparently there was a PlayStation.
Ah,
All
yes.
right. Point unmade. Good
Day is
job.
mine.
The day is yours. At least a minute. So you got another 20 seconds of gloating to do.
Oh, nice. I was right.
But
So
anyway,
anyways, Biomutant
Biomutant released
Biomutant.
not that long ago, and it's a game he and I have been looking forward to for a while. More so him than me. I wasn't huge on it to begin with, but I came around watching some of the videos and stuff for it and the things, and it looked really fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
And then I ended up buying it for us. It's been a long time since I've played a game for a couple hours and said, I think I'm going to return this.
You literally returned it?
I have not. I have not returned it. I usually don't return games unless they're truly dreadful.
I think, honestly, you did that with MVC3, didn't you? You returned it.
No, I was the only one who bought an MVC3, I thought.
No, you bought Ultimate.
I bought, I bought the original. I bought the freaking collector's edition,
Yeah,
too.
I did get
Oh, no,
MVC3.
I did
You bought
Infinite.
that other one. You did
Infinite.
Infinite. That's what it was.
Sorry.
At least I got the
Yeah.
poster, though, the Fate of Two Worlds poster.
Yeah, we both bought MVC3 and we played it for quite some time, but it did not have the charm. that
No,
MVC2
not of
did.
MVC2.
No, which Marvel vs. Capcom for the layman who doesn't know what the hell we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's to me and Paul, it's like the greatest fighting game of all time.
It's
MVC2.
Literally, it still holds up as the best fighting game
Oh,
that
yeah.
has ever been created.
As unbalanced as it is, and how stupid some of the characters are, it's a game we can plug in and have hours of fun with.
Oh yeah.
So there's Biomutants we bought, and I played it for a couple hours. I saw a lot of people saying good things about it. I'm like, all right, I can do it. The reviews are not great. They're kind of all over the map.
So this is kind of like Bale in Wonderworld again, huh?
No.
Not quite. That one was just. That one was critically and user panned pretty hard.
Yeah.
This one, they were all over the place. Like you couldn't make heads or tails of what was good about it, what was bad about it. Like it was something you kind of just had to experience.
Oh, see, that's...
So, well, we'll start with Kevin because Kevin played more of it than I did. Like I said, I played it for 2 hours. And I kind of checked out.
You had enough.
It should tell you something when I put 10 hours into a game and then just stopped.
And you literally put 10 hours into it and you just stopped. Cold turkey.
Yeah.
How far are you in the game? Like
Barely anything.
Oh.
It's an open world RPG.
Oh, gotcha.
So it's a huge map. And I got into it and I was like, okay, maybe it'll pick up as I get new stuff. Maybe it'll pick up as I get new stuff. And I kept just trying to convince myself that it didn't. So I got to that point, and then I was just like, I feel like I've done nothing. I look at the map, I've barely uncovered anything, and I'm just kind of like, yeah, and kind of done for now. And I put it down.
Yeah.
Like it was for me. It was the battle system is. It felt like a PS3 game.
No,
or an Xbox 360.
I have the two perfect comparisons. It feels either like Fable.
Oh, okay.
Or
I can see that.
like Jack and Daxter.
Like the
PS2.
original one?
Yeah.
For the
Oh
PS2.
my God,
Wow.
yeah.
It feels like the combat and stuff feels like it's like straight out of those types of games.
Who developed the game?
Well, I know it was published by THQ Nordic.
Yeah.
Oh.
They only published it though.
Yeah, I don't remember who the developers were.
Experiment 101.
That doesn't ring a bell.
Well, and that doesn't sound like a promising name for a...
It wasn't a very large team. I think it was a team of what, 26?
I want to say it's like 20-something people.
It's a very small team.
Oh, okay.
But so and this is the biggest complaint I've heard from people thus far, and I concurred with it immediately. And Kevin immediately latched onto the idea too because I played it first, and then I told Kevin, I'm like, you might want to try this a little bit before we thing. And I told him my experience, and he texted me within the first 10 minutes. He's like, oh yeah, I feel it. I feel exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
The combat has a very large weightlessness to it. Mm-hmm. It feels like you'll hit things, but nothing happens. Damage will pop up, but there's no reaction in the enemy. You don't get that feeling of connecting. Even the gunplay is just, it's horrible. It felt like GoldenEye. How bad the gunplay was. And it's sad because this is PS4, PS5. This should not be feeling like this.
Well, and the way guns work too is you don't really get an aim down sight, or anything like that. It's always a hip fire. But your reticule, you have this reticle on the screen, and then another one will appear inside of it that auto locks onto stuff. Well, the problem is if they deviate just slightly outside of the thing, you lose lock on and start shooting at nothing.
Oh, ouch.
So you constantly and the adjusting for it sucks.
Yeah, it's not great. It just, and like I said, it doesn't feel like you're hitting anything, even though you are. There's just no this is an age of action RPGs, action games.
Yeah.
That's because let's be honest, turn-based, unless there's a specific franchise that's known for turn-based, like Shin Megami games, or things like
you
that.
You have the Bravely Default and stuff You'll always have the smaller niche ones, but for the main big games, you're going to be more action RPG than turn-based anymore.
I feel like turn-based is you are only, unless it's already an established franchise, the only time you're going back to turn-based RPG
more
style
indie stuff
is going to be indie stuff that is trying to be retro.
Yeah, basically.
Literally, that's it.
As much to people's chagrin, the era of turn-based RPGs is done.
It's done.
It's dead. Yeah, so
you have Final Fantasy to thank for that, actually, because I think Final Fantasy X was the first one that became a
Tales predates.
Well,
those.
Yeah, but it's just around that time
Tales has always
when
been
it became
RPG.
More of a RPG that was time-based versus turn-based.
Well, you know what's funny? people might not remember 10 as well as they think they do, because I always see that comparison.
What's that?
Is that they think 10 is the turning point for action
No,
RPG.
it's an active. It's an ATB turn-based game.
10 is purely turn-based. There is no ATB in 10.
Is it?
Yes.
I thought there was ATB in 10.
Not in 10. 10 is 100%
Or is that the
turn-based.
Oh,
re-release?
wow. Okay, never
Not
mind
even in the re-release.
No, maybe I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure 10 was completely turn-based, I thought. Maybe not. I know there was a turn order.
Well, I'm talking about Final Fantasy X.
Oh, crap.
12.
The X series.
You might be thinking of 12 because
maybe.
it gave the illusion
but 12
of
was
action.
like 12 was way down the road. That was like
That was PS2.
yeah. Oh, was it really?
Yeah,
Oh, I
yeah.
thought that was PS3.
But I'm pretty sure 10
Conditional turn-based battle system.
Turn-based. Okay.
but it was turn-based for
was.
the most
Well,
part because you had
technically-
a turn order.
Technically, ATB is still turn-based too.
Right,
so-
but you didn't have to wait for a gauge to pop up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A gauge didn't fill.
No.
For 10. 10 was you had the turn order.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember when you were the summons, when you used like the summons, it was basically replace the party with the summons, and there were moves to delay your opponent's turn.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of how you kind of got around it.
I thought it still used part of the ATB gauge in this one.
I don't believe so. At least, well, maybe I haven't played it in a while, but I'm pretty sure 10 was just straight up turn based. But maybe I'm full of shit.
You might be.
It's possible.
No, it's okay. I don't know RPGs as well as you guys do, so
Yeah. I
don't listen to me when it comes to that kind of stuff.
But either way, turn based is done. So like action RPGs have pretty much been damn nearly perfected for the most part. I mean, you have one of the biggest action RPGs, Final Fantasy VII Remake now.
Mm-hmm.
Integrate just came out this week, which is fantastic. I still love the remake. It's very good.
Is Integrate, is that like part 2 then?
No,
of the
it's
remake, or is it its own thing?
It's the update that added the Yuffie or Yuffie, however you want to fucking say it, DLC.
Oh,
It's basically what she was doing prior to
When you meet her.
anyone meeting her, because there was a whole bunch of backstory that was never in the original game.
I gotcha.
And I even think her story is called Intermission.
Yeah.
But Integrate, I think, is just kind of the name they gave, like, this update to the game. So it's basically just the Final Fantasy VII Remake, but now it's like you can...
But it includes that extra...
But this is also the version that's
was the-
exclusively for PS5.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's basically like the free upgrade to get, like, the 60 frames per second, or the ray tracing and all this other fucking graphical
all
nonsense.
the big stuff that they do.
Yeah. But, I mean, you have that. The Tales games have been action RPG for... God, since PS1, Super Nintendo, actually.
And then you have
Tales of
stuff-
Fantasia. Was
And then you have stuff
technically-
like Scarlet Nexus coming out this month.
Yeah.
And
So, I mean, really, in comparison, there's no excuse for how bad it really was in Biomutant. And, like, that was enough for me to even be like, I can't. I can't with this. And I considered trading it in or selling it to my older brother.
Oh.
I was like, I just can't. And it was very, very disappointing. Like, because I remember, like, it's not often I spend that kind of money and just completely don't play it. You know, I mean, granted, I have games that I still have not opened.
El Shaddai.
El Shaddai for the PS3.
Which is funny, because I just recently got El Shaddai, what's the Ascension of the Metatron?
Yes.
On the
yeah.
Xbox 360, just because
Yeah.
I found it sealed, brand new, for $4.99.
Yeah, it's not an expensive game. I
I'm
still
like-
haven't played it, but it's a good game.
I'm like, I'm probably just gonna keep it sealed for a while.
I say it is a fun and it is a good game. Like I remember playing the demo and I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
I just haven't gotten around to playing it, which
will
is
not at
a
this point.
common. Well, I will.
Do you have the
eventually.
original El Shaddai then, or is it the Ascension?
I think it's always been Ascension of the Metatron.
I think it's the same thing.
Oh, okay.
Because it was PS3, 360.
Yeah, but I thought
Yeah.
that they did two of them. They did El Shaddai, and then there was like a sequel.
I don't believe so.
Uh-huh.
At least not that I'm aware of. Maybe. But yeah, so it's and it just kind of got me thinking of like what would be your equivalent of like you bought a game and it just did not turn out.
Oh,
It just did not turn out what you thought it was, or what you like. What would be your equivalent to this? Because I know you're not much of a modern gamer, though, so it's like I can't think of anything
as far
modern.
as like being disappointed.
Yeah,
with
like
a
you
game?
bought it, you were excited for it, you bought it, and it was just a fucking foppish letdown.
I mean, I can't honestly think of a game that I was like that seriously let down by.
Honestly, like there's only been like less than a handful for us too.
No,
for me
it's-
too.
Well, it's because I think with the way that we are given like heads up of when games are coming out. We get to see enough gameplay. We get to see enough videos. We get to kind of do the research on our own to say, hey, this looks really good or this looks really bad. Like, I'm not gonna.
Well, but see, the problem is, on the other hand, even with that, cinematic, like the gameplay trailers and reveals can often be completely deceiving.
Oh yeah, look at.
No, I understand that.
Yeah, look at anything. Actually, it's kind of an interesting thing to talk about too, because
the perfect one.
E3's coming up, or E3's coming up within the next week, I think, from this recording. E3 is literally all that. It's all just trailers for games that are not even coming out for like the next year or two.
Mm-hmm.
So it's and it'll be like souped up graphics, and it won't look anything like the
correction.
games.
It starts today.
Oh, fuck me!
Oh, it started this weekend.
It started today.
Oh, wonderful.
I thought it was next week.
But yes, I thought it was the 19th as well.
Yeah.
All right, well, good. Well, that's perfect to talk about, because that's, like, E3 has become, like, what's coming out this year to what's coming out in, like, 3 years.
Yeah, I know that.
E3!
Yeah.
Every 3 years!
Well,
perfect.
the big thing is E3 was also never meant to be a consumer show.
No.
It was actually, it started as an industry thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't for the public.
Yeah. Well, it's just like, what was it? There were a couple of them like that. They started off as like industry things with
CES.
Is that consumer electronic? Yeah,
electronic show.
But like they started off as an industry thing, and then they're like, okay, we can kind of let in some of the public to offset the cost, to it becoming a higher demand for the public to get in, and then they become what they are now.
Now it's basically a promotional platform.
Yeah.
Yep.
That makes sense. But yeah, it's, I don't know. They're already working on patches for Biomutant to alleviate the weightlessness issue. A narrator, I don't personally care for. It's something Kevin doesn't mind. So basically, nobody actually says anything. They'll talk in gibberish, and then there's just a narrator that tells you what they say.
It's an interesting, you don't see it very often.
They did that in... I mean, they used to do it in, like, the Zelda games, was it? Or
no,
Mario?
Zelda, they would just
Some of the
kind of
Mario
talk
games?
nonsense, and then, like, there was a text crawl.
Yeah.
But this one, it's like you just have a narrator who's just telling you what's happening. He'll tell you story. He'll tell you... It's like like somebody's reading you a story.
He's not translating.
No,
he's just reading almost like the story of... And then they're just acting out, like, what's going on.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Which to me is annoying.
It's kind of... Yeah,
It is
it's kind of a
cute.
weird way to tell the story.
It was cute at first. For the first half hour.
Yeah.
I don't think I could stomach 40 hours of it. I would rather have... If you're gonna do voice, do voice. I don't know. It just...
That's a long game.
It's something that kind of irritates me a little bit, but like I can understand it, and
it was an artistic choice, and it's not going to resonate with everyone.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where, because even like Dragon's Crown had a narrator technically, but you could alter the voice. You could use the voice of one of the characters. You could just use the general narrator, or you could do like a voice. Or some of the playable characters became voices you could use, and they would talk. So it's kind of like you're seeing it through their eyes. Kind of like this is just a British narrator man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, all right. When you're hearing his voice beat every character, you're like,
is he actually speaking, like, for them, like, their dialogue?
No.
You mean, or,
he told you about such and such, this,
basically
that,
what'll happen is, like, an NPC will talk in the gibberish of the world, and then the narrator will basically give you a summarized version of what the person is saying to you.
He said he's really hungry.
Basically.
Exactly.
He would like some food.
Yeah.
Like he's reading a book to you.
Yeah.
That's bad to me.
Yeah, no, it's I don't like that kind of storytelling.
See, that doesn't bother me.
It was
because like I also went through stuff like it reminds me a bit of like the Stanley Parable, where everything you do is narrated.
Yeah.
And that's a puzzle game, so it's a little bit different for that one.
But with that, that's kind of more of a gimmick.
That's kind of what it is here too.
It's not a gimmick in this. This is basically their storytelling device.
Mm-hmm.
It's completely different.
Yeah.
But it still makes it a gimmick.
It is a gimmick, though.
I guess.
Yeah. By definition, it is a gimmick because it's trying to do something that other RPGs don't. That makes it a gimmick.
I guess.
They're relying on it heavily, but...
Yeah, but something like Stanley Parable, where, like you said, it was a puzzle game, so, I mean... I don't know.
But he narrates, like, literally almost everything you do.
Yeah, I just it is something that bothered me. I know that's just me, and it's weird because like I see people love this fucking game. Some people are like super into this, and I don't see how.
Like I keep telling Andy, like I love the art design for everything.
Me too. It's a gorgeous game.
I love the concept of like humans basically fucked up the planet, and then one of us survived, left the planet. And now nature basically took back over, and the toxic waste and stuff we left behind mutated living things behind us.
Hence biomutant.
And that's kind of cool. But
Just
like
the change in your character design, like you can alter how he looks, and it looks very fascinating.
But like combat is such a major like part of open world games that it feels kind of jarring to go from like the one to the other.
It sounds like as speaking from somebody who has never played the game and will more than likely never play it, it sounds like people, what they may end up loving about the game is exactly that. It's a story. Well, no, it's a story that is gripping, that they absolutely love. They love the idea of the world is like humans left the world. Those who stayed behind became like these nature.
Like, no, all humans are gone. It's animals have evolved.
It's just animals. Animals have evolved, and so they love the fact that it's like nature based like that. It's a unique story. Kind of almost reminds me almost like of something like almost like a Wall-E.
Kind of, yeah.
In that sense, people love that kind of story. They love the art, and it's just a very beautiful looking game. And some of them can overlook the flaws in the game design and the storytelling, because they're really invested in trying to find out what's at the end of this.
But see, some of the other people I talk to are so like they think the combat is amazing though.
But then
and that's like, I don't understand how.
And to me, I mean, everybody is entitled to their opinion.
Oh yeah,
and maybe they are just loving the idea of the game design, because maybe they don't have a point of reference for a lot of other games that they played up to this point.
Some of these people though play like Devil May Cry and Bayonetta, so it's like, how can you go from like amazing combat engines like those to saying this is a good combat engine? It's just so it's bad. I mean, like I said, it's like Fable and stuff.
See, and I would have been the complete opposite. Like, I can overlook a crappy design, a crappy story. I mean, we've been overlooking crappy stories for, God, since the Nintendo.
Yeah.
So, like, I can overlook that stuff as long as the core mechanics of your game are solid.
Yeah.
Like, I admit, like, a lot of the RPGs I loved growing up, the stories are nothing original. They're nothing new. Yeah. They're nothing great. But the combat shines, and that's the kind of stuff I love. Like, even shitty art designs. Like, I'm all right with that.
Yeah.
As long as your battle, as long as the combat is solid and it's engaging to me in that sense, I can overlook the rest. But yeah, maybe. Like I said, you're right. People are entitled to like what they like.
Yeah,
I mean,
and they're not right. They're not wrong.
Yeah, like,
everybody is entitled to their own.
It's not for us, I guess.
So, and it's unfortunate because I think a lot of it gripped you from the beginning, where you were really looking forward to it. It was a great idea, and that was where you still had the hope of like, yeah, the core mechanics of the game are going to be fantastic. So everything's looking great. I'm really going to like this game. And then when you played it, it's like, yeah, the most important thing, which is the thing that I could not see before when they were announcing the game, is bad. So therefore, it just completely destroyed my opinion of this game.
Which, yeah, that's pretty much all I got on that. Which I guess actually will bring me to my next point, is do you think if Biomutant had put out a demo, do you think this would have done as well? Or do you think it would have corrected some of these issues before release?
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah? Think so?
I think so. Because
you almost think it's necessary for these types of games to put out a demo first. Because, I mean, look at how beneficial the demo for Outriders really was. Outriders was a hot technical mess. If you guys haven't listened to it, listen to Kevin and I's Outrider demo episode of the Powercast, where we gave our initial impressions. I know Paul wasn't there for that one. But, like, we liked the demo. It was fine. But, goddamn, was it a programming nightmare. It was horrible.
So... I don't think that demos are necessarily necessary, because, and maybe I'm giving too much credit to developers, but when I almost feel like most developers, they're gamers at heart, which is why they do this, because they love it. They know mechanics. They know that if you punch somebody in a game, that person has to respond to it. Like, it has to
do something.
Has to do something. So I think if they had put this game out as a demo, people's number one gripe would be, okay, the combat system. Like, when I stab somebody or when I cut somebody with a sword, like, they're literally not responding to it. I don't know. It's like there's a disconnect where I don't know if I hit them because they're not responding to it, but I'm seeing everything else giving me that indication that they're getting hit. The game designers will know that that's a problem. They don't need people, and they don't need to rely on people to say, yeah, this is garbage because this is not doing this. It's like, yeah, we know, we just haven't fixed that part yet, or we weren't able to develop it with this in mind. It's like they don't need that additional like push of saying, yep, this needs to be fixed. It's like, no, we know it needs to be fixed. We just can't figure it out yet.
Well, do you think that they might have done that as a design choice? Like, they wanted that weightlessness to it. Whereas now that like the outcry of the public is like, this is not great, where they would have changed it?
I don't think.
Do you know what I mean?
I don't think so, because if they intended for it to be, wouldn't they have said something about it before the game even came out, that this was what they were, that's what they were going for?
I mean, I don't know.
No, because to be honest,
Look at the Mass Effect 3 debacle.
Well, Mass Effect 3 had issues of its own.
Yeah.
not just that, but like
story.
because of the way the entire Cyberpunk situation happened, I think a lot of developers at this point are just, they don't want to admit when they screwed up anymore.
Well,
And at this point, they're going to try to use every tactic in the book to be like, well, it was because of this or because of that, but this is your profession. You chose to be in this profession. So, like, you have to, if you're going to, you need to either stand behind your product or just not make it.
yes, but the problem with, and I don't think that you can compare this and the screw
Well, I'm not saying they're
Cyberpunk 2077,
I'm not saying they're equivalent,
because that,
but I'm just saying that, Cyberpunk basically shattered the consumer developer type.
They did, where they basically said that this was going to be on all platforms, but they literally only designed it with one platform in mind. Like, I think the next gen systems, or which one was the one where they were having all the issues with? That was
all of them.
No,
Everything but PC.
no, but it was literally unplayable on like the PS4.
Oh, base PS4.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was unplayable.
The base Xbox One is basically unplayable too originally.
Exactly. And so they literally said, okay, you were saying that this game is playable across all platforms, but you designed this with the next-gen systems in mind,
They
PS5, whatever it is.
Cyberpunk was literally designed originally for the Xbox One and PS4.
Well,
But probably PS4 Pro, the stronger of that.
It started
hardware.
development before the Pro and the One X were even out.
Well, of course, before they were out, but I'm sure they knew it was coming.
Yes, and they were advertising it and saying that it was going to be playable. It wasn't, and so that's where they had literally, I mean, there was issues about them, was it going to court to say, like, this was false advertising, and so that was issues all on its own. This just seems like it was just bad mechanics. They just they weren't able to program it the way that they wanted to, and if they did, if they intended for the mechanics to be like that, then I'm sorry, but day one or day two, if you didn't get a demo so that people knew what they were getting into, then it is up to them to say, nope, this is not a mistake, this is not something that's going to be corrected, this is exactly why we designed it the way that it was, and these are the reasons why. Then maybe you'll get people who say, okay, I can see what they were going for, I can live with this. Okay. And then they just go on.
Yeah, maybe.
But see, if they intended it for this to be this way, then they wouldn't be doing this massive patch that's going to be changing the way combat is.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is like, did it come to a point where they're like, because obviously this is all speculation. We have no idea why the combat was like this. Maybe it was what they wanted. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe they just ran out of time. Who the hell knows? But would it be that the complaints about it were so overwhelming that they were like, we probably should change this, despite it being against what we originally wanted?
Mm-hmm. And it could be, although I feel like there's a lot more games nowadays that are, and it's sad to say that it's such a dying practice, but they are releasing games as quickly as they can because they want to make the money, and then they say, okay, well, now we're gonna
fix it in a patch.
We'll fix it in a patch. We'll give it the day one patch, or we'll give it the first week patch, or something like that, so that they can just basically get the money that they need, and then they'll start creating the patches, and then the final game will basically be 6 months down the road, 3 months down the road, whatever it ends up being. But it's not when the game actually comes out anymore.
Right.
And I miss those days when a game, like, when it came out, that was when it was intended for it to be completed.
I wonder if a lot of that has to do with to try and alleviate the crunch, quote unquote.
Yeah. But
because it's like they're putting.
But see, and this is where I don't know if I can, if you can blame the video game companies, the publishers, because I mean, obviously most of them have like bottom lines, and they need to appease higher powers, and so honestly, I feel like you do less damage if you just delay the damn game for the 3 to 6 months that you need, or whatever it ends up being. Yeah, people are going to be upset that it's delayed, but as long as you are saying that, yes, we will get this fine-tuned and everything will be ready day one, no day one patches, but it's going to be 6 months down the road, you're going to save a lot more PR, and you're going to end up with happy customers than if you release it and see this garbage that ends up coming out, and then half the people who are saying like, okay, this is what it looks like, all right, I'm done, I'm done playing it. So are you guys gonna stick around for the 3 month patch to come out, whatever it ends up being? Like,
I have enough other stuff to play in the meantime.
Well,
so
I probably will, but I know what you mean. And
the average gamer is gonna already be moving on to that next thing. It's like, well, this was a bust, all right, next one.
And it's pretty much, I know we've actually talked about that before, I think, in our Cyberpunk episode, where you had said that quote, where it was a game that is delayed can be great at a future date. A broken game that's released will be broken forever, or bad forever, or something.
Which is not true, because No Man's Sky defeats that.
Yeah.
No Man's Sky is an amazing fucking game.
Yeah, I heard it got pretty good.
Like, it released, and
it bombed hard on
that one, but see, and then see, that one's a little bit different, because that one, they had such a ridiculous hype behind it that, like, there was concepts that developers were like, well, we'd like to do X, Y, and Z, and then when X, Y, and Z weren't necessarily attainable, but the game was still completely playable and fine, people got pissy.
Right.
Well, or if you do it the whole the route that Cyberpunk 2077 went, where they made the announcement and said, all right, yep, in a week's time, like, this game will be made to the public, and then literally a week later they're like, no, it's going to be delayed.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Then why did you even say that it was going to come out? Like, seriously, don't be stupid.
Yeah, it's, I don't know, the video game industry has taken such a weird turn that it's almost,
I know,
I miss the good old days.
I know.
Unfortunately, I think the video game industry is hit where movies hit, I think, like, I want to say it was like 2 decades ago, maybe a little bit longer, where it's become such like a mass consumer thing now that it is like the passion. There are people that are still super passionate about doing it, but you can see by like the schlock that gets turned out that they're more interested in just turning the quick buck rather than doing and trying things the way they used to.
Right. Very, very few movies are really kind of push.
That's why
pushing the edge isn't the right word.
But see, and the reason I compare it to
or the right phrase.
I compare it to like movies is because look at like last generation and this generation so far. How many remakes and remasters have been put out on these systems?
Oh, dozens.
Look at the movie industry in the last 20, 25 years.
Remakes and rebirths.
That's a constant cycle in the movie industry is you'll do a bunch of remakes because like classic movies like the Al Pacino Scarface is a remake.
Right.
So you have these like movies that are like viewed as classics that are remakes, and the cinema industry does that constantly, where it's every so often there'll be this like big cycle of, oh, now we're gonna do all these remakes. And I think gaming is now hitting that point where all of a sudden it's all of the remakes and stuff are starting to hit.
Well, I wonder how much of that too, though,
Is a quick profit.
well, not just that, but like how much of that was signs of the times. Because like,
True.
look at like Scarface, like the Al Pacino Scarface is like
Vastly
it's-
different than the 1930s one.
Exactly, but like that's an iconic film, like the Al Pacino one.
Yeah.
How many people even knew there was an original
And
Scarface?
see, and that's part of the problem is the
Yeah.
consumers don't know enough.
So even with this current gen of consoles, like how many of these remakes and stuff, obviously they're targeting us.
Yeah.
We always want to see our games we grew up with in a fresh coat of paint. I mean, there's no question about it. If they made a Phantasy Star 4 on the fucking PS5, I would lose my shit. I would buy 5 copies and give one to everybody. The whole 5 people I know. But, like, and then how much of that is, like, people buying it for their kids? Like,
Yeah.
I remember playing this when I grew up. I think you would enjoy it too, but because how many of, like, my niece, they're not going to sit around and play the original fucking Mario Brothers. Like, those games not only like they're brutal, they're not great to look at to the like this generation of kids. They would rather see the graphical
Yeah.
the graphical
They would rather see
acuity
Mario,
of this.
Super Mario Odyssey.
Exactly.
They don't want to see
like,
Super Mario Brothers.
No.
Yeah.
So like I wonder if that's kind of why like the remake
cycle
remaster
happens.
happens. Especially with gaming, because like we're seeing
Well,
rebirths of so many franchises that we held dear that I don't think kids would go back and play a PS2. You know what I mean?
Game designers, go back and make Legacy of the Wizard.
See, and that's also one of those things too, whereas you got to think that the amount of time that's passed between like PS2 to now it's been
Yeah.
quite a few years.
I mean, if you think about it, Breath of the Wild was basically Legend of Zelda 1 for the Nintendo,
Yeah.
but just for current, you know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like that kind of, I can see where the relevance of it is,
yeah,
but at some point it gets to be too much. Like they're doing it way too fucking often and
Yeah.
with weird shit.
Yeah.
So it's like,
yeah. Because look at games like Skyrim. It's been released on every system since PS3 and 360, I think.
Yep.
yes.
Even up to the Switch. I think
Yeah.
the Switch was
Yeah,
the
and
most
like
recent.
even then
Yeah.
they've done multiple versions and stuff. It's like just stop.
Demon Souls, Dark Souls, like
some point- you
Actually, Demon Souls came out in what was it, 2009, I think, or 2010?
PS3.
Yeah, for PS3, and now
they did it on PS5.
They just remade it.
Yeah.
On the PS5.
Yeah, it's
like,
ridiculous.
It's like, wait a minute, this game came out like less than 10 years ago, and you're already remaking it? Like,
Yeah.
what?
But then unfortunately, some people's attention spans are that short. So
Well, it's like one of those things too, where it's like I loved the game. Like I was telling you on the way here, Kevin. Like I would love for Square Enix to put out like a Final Fantasy 13 trilogy pack.
that's not gonna happen.
It won't. Well, you never know.
Maybe the 20-year
but
anniversary.
You never know. It could, because I mean, it's possible. But
But that one's so
It's-
like panned by like critics and fans that
you never know.
yeah, I wouldn't.
But
I mean,
it
I
would be
wouldn't-
more so for the convenience of it, because I don't
Yeah.
want to haul out my PS3 to play Final Fantasy 13. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's I could see them doing like the bundle and then putting it on a thing. You know what I mean? And it would be cool.
Oh, yeah.
And it would be convenient. So it's like I could see them doing something like that, but I mean, you're right. In all likelihood that probably will not happen, because nobody liked 13 except me,
Like I
apparently. But yes, well, I guess that'll do it for that. That's all I got on games and current gaming, and
I'm just fortunate that I really don't play a lot of like the super newer stuff
No.
that comes out, so I really don't get as disappointed as
you
guys
will
do.
soon, as I gift my PS4 to you.
I've already been disappointed with the fact that
This friendship.
no.
I mean, yeah, there's that. Too,
Is
but-
no, honestly, I mean a lot of the best series that I have absolutely loved, like Silent Hill and Metroid. I mean, it's just they have literally. I mean, Silent Hill. I honestly do not think that a new Silent Hill will ever come out, like, at least in the next 10, 15 years. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
There's rumors and rumblings that Silent Hill might possibly be coming back.
There have been rumors and rumblings.
This year, actually, supposedly, if the current ones are to be believed, there might be hints of it during E3 this year.
So you might see it today.
We'll see.
Silent Hill Pyramid Crotch.
Yes, I am going to hold my breath. But I mean, honestly, I've already been disappointed in that sense, and I just and so I can't. I don't feel like I can be let down any more than I already have been in the past, like 5 years.
That makes
6
sense.
years.
I would like to give you my PS4 just so you can experience the games that you are missing, like the Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes, some of the survival horror games that have come out on, on the PS4 and stuff.
But what I never told you is that I almost ended our friendship at one point because you were just an absolute wuss. And you deleted PT from your PlayStation 4.
I did delete it. That was a mistake.
You deleted it because you thought, oh, Konami is doing something to people's PS4s and giving them issues if they keep it on their system.
I did save the video, though.
You're an idiot.
Yeah, that was dumb.
You're an idiot.
That was dumb of me to do.
Yes, it was.
You know what's funny is PT still comes up as a download on like my library. It still shows the icon to re-download it.
Oh, and you can't because it's gone.
And it's all gone.
It's gone.
What are you looking up, Kevin?
Yeah, what are you looking up?
Oh, E3 news? Fuck off.
Oh my God, Bait and Kato's making a comeback.
Well, maybe.
Well, that would be cool. That would be cool,
because they are apparently working on something, and there's also rumblings of a Xenoblade Chronicles announcement this year.
Oh,
because they just refreshed some.
The trademarks for something.
Trademarks and stuff like that, and the guy that did the music for them had just tweeted out about recording a whole bunch of shit.
Oh wow!
Not that long ago.
That would be cool.
So he was just like, well, I just finished a session for my next project, and everyone's like, you do the music for this. What else do you do?
Yeah, speculations. Yes.
I suppose we should get into our main thing, though.
I mean, I suppose we can. Paul's over here looking at price charting.
I am.
I thought you were all done with price charting.
Shut up.
Yes, price charting's gotten a little weird lately.
It has.
With
All right.
Little Samson, I see, is at $17.20.
It's been at 17. On price charting, but if you look it up on eBay, it's a hell of a lot more than that.
Really?
Yeah. Did you not see the picture he sent?
I didn't see pictures of anything. I probably ignored it.
It's over $2,000.
Suck a dick.
On eBay, yeah. It's like 25. Oh god.
Oh god. Wow, really?
Please stop.
I am. I stopped.
Yeah, no, it's like 2,500, 2,700.
15.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
At least 15 to 1,700.
Sick.
Yep.
Well, we talked about disappointments. Suck it. Stupid.
The little Samson.
Oh yeah. But yes, we'll got. Fuck spoilers.
There's a disappointment for you. You're still not beating him.
Oh no, I never will, and I've concluded that already because we've kind of talked about that.
I know.
Well, there's a running thing between Paul and I where my Panzer Dragoon Saga will catch up to Little Samson in price, but it's impossible because it's kind of comparing apples to oranges because Panzer Dragoon Saga is always complete.
Yeah.
Little Samson's always just cart.
Yeah.
And it's not the same realm. So
it's two different
beasts.
Yeah, two different beasts.
Yeah. So you know what? This episode is basically a Last Ronin episode.
Well, it was
supposed to be
until we got off on our other tangents.
Yeah, we always do. So if you don't want to spoil Last Ronin stuff,
stop listening.
Just stop listening.
I was gonna say, just cut right now and go read The Last Ronin, which should be at your local comic book shop, if you actually have one nearby you anymore. They are a dying breed, but
that'll be a different episode.
The Last Ronin came out a couple weeks ago, I think, at this point, and issue number 3 of the 5-issue limited series. And oh god, this series just keeps getting better and better. Yeah. Honest to God. And one of the things that I keep saying as far as one of the pros of this story, and I feel like like I just can't explain it, but the pacing of the story is just absolutely perfect.
It's immaculate.
It is perfect. I have never read a story that has had such great pacing that it's covering everything that I want it to cover, but leaving enough to be desired that it's literally powering me through to want to get to the next episode or the next
And there's
issue.
no fluff in the story.
No,
No,
there really isn't.
This one was very exposition heavy, but I'm actually
but it
all
didn't
right
feel,
with that.
yeah, it didn't
Which,
feel like it.
Let's
though.
be honest, midpoint through a story of any sort, that's generally when your exposition is going to happen anyway.
Yes.
You have the build up, the exposition, the grand finale. Like, that's how a story flows. So this makes sense why it would be.
Yeah.
But this was a good one.
But
I will say this is a good one.
But
Well,
but in being the comic book fan that I am, honestly, that is where there has been so many different crossovers and so many different like storylines where it's like a 5 to 8 issue to 10 issue like series or something going on where you think to yourself, okay, issues 1 and 2 were fantastic. They didn't really need issues 3 through 7, and then 9 and 10 just closed it out greatly. It's like a lot of it is just you feel like there's so much fluff. This series has just not had any of that. It's
No.
like every issue seems so integral, so key, and they only have 2 issues left. So
Yeah.
honestly, this is the point where it's going to start closing out, and so I feel like it's only going to just be so much better as it goes on.
I'm gonna say so far this series seems like they had a definite plot outline in place before.
Oh, for sure.
Because there are other series like you're saying where it seems like it'll be great, then drags, and then is great again.
Mm-hmm.
Where it almost feels like they're writing the plot as they go. Where like they have they have a very
long
basic
series. Yeah,
they have
yeah.
a very basic structure, and then they'll kind of fill in stuff as they go. Whereas this is they seem like they have the very detailed picture from the get-go.
Story starts like, okay, story starts here. We want to get here. You put in what you want, but it's got to be at least 5 issues worth.
Yeah.
As this literally feels like they had a lot of ideas, a lot of story already established, and said, you have 5 issues to tell this story, but you have to hit all of these different points, and these are the outlines that should happen, and they plotted them out just absolutely perfectly.
I'll say 5 issues, even though it seems like such a short number to me. Like, it felt, the pacing's great, because the first issue was this perfect setup. You see him failing at what he tried to do, which was take out Hiruto.
Yeah.
Hiruto? What is it?
Hiroto.
Yeah. Then, slowly we're learning the fates of the other 3 turtles, because Raphael, we saw what happened to him in issue 2.
Yep.
We just, in this one, witnessed Leonardo and Casey Jones's death in issue 3. And if the tease for the next cover
Which
shows
has
anything,
always
it's going
been-
to be Donatello
Yep,
and Splinter.
Donatello and Splinter are going to be front and center.
Yep, which will be issue 4. And then we're going to end with issue 5, which is probably their assault on Hiruto.
Which would be Mikey's death.
Maybe.
Well, it might.
To be honest,
and that's the thing.
I'm hoping for that type of bittersweet ending of where
kill each other.
Yeah, they're gonna go out in a good mutual honorable fight at the end, and then it's just gonna be April and her kid left.
Oh, it will not be an honorable fight.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing.
know.
And that's the thing with The Last Ronin is that this is basically what's establishing the. I don't want to call it the multiverse, but it's basically kind of like how Marvel did like a what if.
Yeah.
Or DC did Elseworlds. Like, these are stories that took place in the universe but are not related to the main Earth line. Last Ronin is literally the first story that's ever been told in TMNT where it's not of that main TMNT timeline. So honestly, they could do whatever they want. Yes, Michelangelo has been the last Ronin, and they could very well kill him at the end of the storyline. Like, nothing.
It'd be a very bittersweet type of ending. I could see him closing it out that way. Because I mean, they're not gonna want him to fucking suffer around without his brothers. Come on.
he'd
have April and
but
Casey Jane. I don't remember what the hell her name is, but
it's Casey.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, they call her Casey as well.
Yeah. I suppose it's an androgynous type. Yeah, you can
I think,
it
and so I'm not sure if it's Casey O'Neill or
Casey Marie Jones.
Casey Marie Jones. Yeah, Casey Marie. So yeah, but I mean, honestly, I could see that just because I mean, Michelangelo, you can already tell like through this storyline, like he's hurting. He's
Yeah.
he misses his brothers. He misses the way that things were. He is obviously changed from everything that has happened up to this point. So honestly,
And yet he still manages to be a giant baby.
Wow.
Those are some of my favorite panels with him getting the blood drawn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really funny.
He still manages to be the little brother throughout the entire thing, which is kind of funny.
I'm almost curious if they're going to play the mutation, because they make so many references in this about how his mutations advanced.
Yeah.
Do you think he'll become like what's his face from Dragon Ball, or he'll become a giant snapping turtle?
No, stop it.
No, I'm just kidding.
No.
But no, like I wonder if that might take some form of an effect where they'll discover something with his mutation is causing something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's like you were saying before, is I don't think the battle between Mikey and Hiruto is going to be fucking honorable because he's a fucking nutcase.
Well, and honestly,
that's actually one of the things I wanted to
yeah,
talk
and that's
about
one
at
of the things
end
we'll discuss
issue.
too. Is honestly, even for what a nutcase Hiruto is turning into, and I mean, like you really see him kind of losing his grasp on reality.
Yeah, he is marbles on.
But I'm really enjoying it because, and at first I thought like. I even wrote down in my notes, like, he's insane, and this might be a little bit too much, like, over the top for me, but then I started seeing, like, there are some parallels between what he's going through and what Mikey is going through, and I'm
that's
like,
why,
oh my god, this is genius!
To be honest, that's what I wanted, one of the things I wanted to touch on was, okay, so we already talked, like, the panels towards the end that we see of him, he's clearly losing his grip on reality.
Oh yeah, I think he keeps referring to himself as a god, and how his angels will not.
Well, not just that. He'll be talking, and then he'll just start laughing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was wondering, like, if maybe it'll get to the point in the final issue where they're going to see each other, they're going to realize how much they are reflections of each other, and realize that they're just fighting themselves the entire time, and then because the Foot Clan, even though they do all this evil shit, they do still live with a code of honor.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
They are still a samurai / ninja clan that has these, like, yeah, they're dubious, but they're like, they still have their ethics that they go by.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, Shredder would never pass up a challenge, like a one-on-one fight against Leo for an honorable duel. Mm-hmm. Shredder would always honor that.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and like, Karai would always honor that until she started losing, and then, she would do her typical smoke run away type shit.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if it'll go the same route with him, where he's gonna, like, they're gonna see the reflection, they're gonna see the kinship, and then they're just gonna be like, all right, fine, we'll settle this, just you and me.
Well, and I also like that too, because the way that the issue starts off, you see what looks like Oroku Hiruto being very honorable and following in that footstep for the Foot Clan. Like, you know what, we have fought long enough, I want to put an end to this, and maybe the time has come for us to finally end this rivalry.
That's what his mother wanted, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And so you see almost like this hint of, like, oh my god, like, okay, I thought that he was this big bad guy, but what must have happened in between that he felt this way and now he's like this? But then you learn through the story that it's like, no, he's losing his grasp on reality, and he had no intention whatsoever of fighting honorably, which is why he
or at least
ambushed
making
them.
peace.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd have to reread issue 2, but because they showed when Raphael took out his mother, right? Karai.
Karai,
Yeah,
yes. No, Karai is still...
She's still alive.
Yeah.
She's in the
she's
in
in
the incubator too.
She's in
but yes,
cryostasis.
So-
yes, he stabbed her, and then she stabbed him, and that's what. Yeah.
So lay this timeline out for me real quick. In the beginning of this issue, when he's being basically sworn in as head of the Foot Clan, is she already in the tube? Or is he just ascending to power and she's still alive?
I think he ascended to power before she was put into the tube.
So
part of his slip to wanting to kill the turtles
was because Raphael
is
took
what
her
happened
out.
to her.
Yeah.
Right.
So that could have been the moment that broke him.
Mm-hmm. And it could very well be.
Maybe it's because it's been so long since I read the second issue. I'd have to go back and reread it. But like, I feel like that's the way it was kind of like it showed the then and now was that she was still alive at that point, and then Raphael, quote unquote, took her out.
Yeah.
And then he had I have to
now
fucking
he's got
destroy
a full
everything.
hard on the
So
turtles.
I think the timeline is he gets sworn in, wants to make peace, but he's obviously using it as a ploy. Raph goes out in response to some. Well, no, Raph had to have gone before the response to them attacking the base.
Right. Because
So-
Raphael's already technically dead by.
I think
that point.
I think he's dead at this point. Yeah.
I don't know. He's dead in the now time.
Oh,
Yeah.
for
Well,
sure.
they're all
yeah.
dead, but they're.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like for some reason, to me, they did a lot of jumping more than usual in this episode, and it threw me off.
Yeah, the then that they did in the beginning, they really didn't even give you an accurate time of when that was actually happening. So you kind of have to just make your own inferences from that. But
Well, maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe
actually,
in this issue, she's already Raphael and her are already done.
yeah.
yeah, I think so.
Because when we
Because
talk
I
about
think-
peace,
Unless maybe that's what it is. Is that's what was? So
Maybe
he
that's
was
what he
sworn in,
wanted-
and that's why he's saying this is the time that we need to put an end to this. Is because of what happened to her. She's not dead, but she is
Yeah,
really basically on death's door.
that seems to fit.
And then he basically
They
made it.
ambushed.
He
the
used it
ambush.
as an ambush.
Used it as an ambush
because
he's
Baxter
like,
Stockman,
he was working with Baxter Stockman.
yeah.
No, actually, it looks like Baxter's on his own
Well, Baxter wants
he wants
Honeycutt.
Fugitoid.
He
Yeah,
wants
Honeycutt.
Fugitoid. Yep.
because
Professor Honeycutt.
the guys Baxter has set up are not Foot.
They're just mercenaries.
Oh, gotcha.
He's part of the Dragon, which was the other clan.
the Purple Dragons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Silver monkeys.
Because like they get killed, Baxter's men get killed by the Foot soldiers.
Oh, that's right.
Okay.
So Baxter's not there on the
Oh.
Foot clan behalf. He's on his own going after the Fugitoid.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm about to say, kind of explain what the Fugitoid is to me, because I
He'll
don't
have to
know.
explain that.
I don't know
Well-
what Fugitoid Honeycutt is.
So, Honeycutt. So.
Honeycutt, whatever.
Oh God, I don't honestly know enough about it to describe it, but Professor, if you
I'll
look it up
real
just to
quick.
double check me, but so Professor Honeycutt was the original brains behind Fugitoid. He created Fugitoid, and something happened to him where his I want to say his brain, his intelligence, his essence went into the Fugitoid.
Okay.
And so that's where he resides. So he was a brilliant scientist.
Yeah.
And Stockman never liked him as a result of that. And so I don't know why he's so integral to this story, this particular story.
The Professor Honeycutt is an alien.
He's an alien. Okay.
They're from another planet.
Gotcha.
So they basically Baxter wants the more advanced
research
technology.
He wants the technology.
to make better mousers and his robots, basically.
Okay. So Stockman didn't. Well, did Stockman make the foot soldiers? or
I
no?
was just about to say that. Then maybe this is why Stockman is working for the Foot Clan, because, and I love that they did this too, is the fact that they introduced in this issue the Foot Clan. What?
Oh, go ahead. No,
Oh,
what you're gonna say.
they introduced the Foot Clan as robots, and it was very, very like the
was cool.
cartoon.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so and honestly, the robotic foot soldiers had always been a staple of
Right,
the
right.
animated TV show. It's never really been that way in the comic series, and this is where they kind of found a really intelligent way to integrate the robots into that.
It was kind of a cool thing too, like a cool couple panels when they're like, "What the hell?"
Yeah,
like
because
they're
they're
badass.
Yeah.
Like those the robot foot are pretty cool.
And
like
they
they're
were-
not like their
yeah.
typical like puttyman looking guys.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
They're real fun.
And they
They're
were-
a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, and they were surprised, saying that, "Oh my God, they're robotics now, or they're robots
Yeah.
now."
So Honeycutt's people were at war with the Triceratons.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah.
okay.
But
And-
Honeycutt's people weren't the Utroms have always been at war with the
Utroms are from the other dimension. These guys are all
Yeah.
aliens in this timeline.
Okay.
But apparently, yeah. So he was making new technology. He put on this helmet that basically allowed him to do stuff, and one of his robots kind of fucked up, and then an electrical storm type thing happened. Transferred his brain into the prototype,
into the prototype Fugitoid,
which is
Yep.
how he became the robot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, that makes sense to now. Because when they showed him, I'm like, "What the fuck is this thing?" But yeah, okay, that makes more sense then.
Yeah.
It explains why Stockman wants him then. All right, cool.
Yeah. For the technology, he only wants the technology so that he could basically to take over the world, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, he probably just wants their time.
But yeah, Stockman has always kind of been more so on his own. Like he'll
side
aligned
with anyone to get what he wants.
He's aligned with the Foot and with Shredder, but it's only been to basically get himself into position because he's always had his own agenda.
Okay.
In handling things. So
Yeah. Like I said, this issue was also really good in the fact that it went more into like how April lost her arm and the leg and like some of her
Turned out she
backstory.
was pregnant when she did it.
Yeah. Whoops.
Yeah.
Ouch. Explains a lot about Casey.
But before I get into that, although this kind of goes into the history with her, is Casey Jones just giving his classic movie line. I love the fact that he said that line, that class is pain 101 and your instructor is Casey Jones, because that was straight from TMNT 1. And then he even made a reference to the cricket bat.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh god, I just cricket. Nobody understands cricket. You got to know what a crumpet is to understand cricket.
God, I love it.
I love that movie so much.
Me too.
But this book, this particular issue does go into a lot of the history of April and what happened to her, how she lost. It was the blast that basically killed Casey.
Fugitoids. Well, no, it was the Mousers exploding, wasn't it, or was it the Fugitoid? Because the Fugitoid said something. I'd rather self-destruct.
Yes, it was the Fugitoid. Yes. But that was the same explosion that killed Leonardo and Casey Jones.
Right.
And it also basically took her arm and her leg, and then
blew Michelangelo away.
He woke up, didn't realize what had happened.
Yep.
And she was in the hospital for therapy for the next, I think it ended up being like a year or something like that, or something.
Illustrated
10
beautifully in that old school.
In Kevin Eastman's old school, like you just feel like you're reading an old school issue of TMNT.
It's one of my favorite parts about this.
Yeah.
Is that old school drawings of it. It looks so cool to me.
Okay, so apparently the IDW version, the backstory is slightly different for Honeycutt. Okay. So he's still an alien scientist, but he was working for Utram.
Yes. Yeah, for the Utrams.
Yeah. So this is the other one was the Mirage continuity, where it's him versus the Triceratons.
Yes.
So in the IDW continuity, he's working for the Utram, working for Quainin first, and then Krang, and he's actually who built the Technodrome in this continuity.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
So, and then he still made the artificial life form Sal. Then he's still an alien though. Mm-hmm. Then they end up fighting the rock soldier guys, the stone soldiers.
Yeah, Treg.
And he ends up basically. So he ends up in IDW. He ends up working for Stockman. Apparently, Stockman then finds out about him being an alien and stuff like that.
Okay. And then he ran away.
Yeah, kind of
to not get
so because he ended up siding with the Foot Clan and a bunch of different shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So apparently, freaking. That's the one thing I will say is kind of hard with this series is that the Mirage and IDW, there's some overlap of what happens, and then other stuff is so different.
But that's what I like about this is it's really kind of merging all of those different outlets, the Mirage series, the movie continuity, the TV series continuity, the IDW continuity. It's all really coming together very artistically into this one series, and it's really just the balance of it is really working out very, very well, and it's so tasteful the way that they do it.
I would say I'm loving the story so much. It's like as I've mentioned, probably damn near every episode so far. It takes a lot for me to get into a comic. Yeah, and this I'm loving this.
And to be quite honest, and this is actually one of the things that it's the only gripe that I could give with this series so far is that I wish and who knows, maybe with
your big gripe is the fact that they're not teenagers anymore.
Yeah. No, and who knows, they may correct this with issue 4 or issue 5 is because they've really been going into a lot of the history of where characters ended up and what happened to them. I'm always I hate whenever they kill characters off panel. when it is just up to you to decide, like, in your mind, like, oh yeah, they're dead, so now you have to think, okay, how were they taken out, whatever it is. I am of the mindset that if it happens off panel, then there is a chance that
They could come back.
they are still alive out there. I don't like the fact that Leo and Casey, I mean, it's implied, obviously, that they were within close proximity to the blast
They were
radius.
in the building.
And considering Leonardo's
yes.
ghost is following
Exactly.
Michelangelo.
But Casey, we've never heard anything about him
Yeah.
to that point. We don't see his ghost. I think April has made comments about, like, Casey and stuff like that, but she could have also been referring to her daughter.
Yeah.
At that point as well too. So it's like I don't like it happening off panel, but at the same time, that is a gripe that I would not like. It is so far down
But
from
you
my
also have to
concerns
think
that
at this
it's-
point, like, unless if Casey Jones is like flat out avoiding April in the how many years since it's been in between,
And that-
she would have found some trace of the two of them. She didn't even know Mike was alive until he showed back up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you would think she would have at least. She's been looking this entire time. Hell, like in this issue, they show she's been stockpiling stuff.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah.
in the lair.
Speaking of,
That final panel.
speaking of,
so, like-
did you catch the little Easter egg in that panel?
What,
The last one?
the tank or
No, but in the panel with
car.
the tank.
The classic.
The party
the party wagon!
The
Yeah.
party wagon
Oh my
was in there.
God!
Yes.
Yeah, it was totally in there.
Oh, sure enough.
Yeah.
The old party wagon.
Exactly.
Oh my god, that's
They
awesome.
had so many little small minor nods that I'm just like, dang, they are so good.
Oh my god, I that was the one toy I always wish I had growing up.
I know,
was
I had the party wagon.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That thing was so cool.
Mhm.
I had the shredder that turned into the drill. He was like a transformer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had series of those. Yep.
Yeah.
One thing though that I would love, I want to find out more about, is right here when
Is it the last
grabbing him?
panel with him?
Hiroto, yes, when Hiroto says, I am immortal and my angels will not allow it, like he's saying, my angels will not allow me to die. And then you see these robotic, like, talons. It's like, oh, so maybe he's not completely crazy, and maybe these are what he considers, like, his angels. Like, maybe he's got some kind of
think-
robotic...
I'm assuming it's one of Baxter's creations.
And it could very well be.
And
but
it's one of those things where like
I
the entire
want
existence of that robot is probably just to protect him.
Exactly. But it's like, I want more. I like that kind of cliffhanger where
I'm
it's just
hoping-
like, give me more.
I am kind of hoping he'll get his own variation of the Shredder suit.
Oh god, I hope so.
Sure. Probably by issue 5,
But like I
maybe.
say,
Like
he
it'll
is
be a
just-
blend of like Karai and Shredder or
And
something.
yeah,
That'd be
or
really cool.
Shredder, like from over the years and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Because he actually, in the beginning, he's got the cape.
He's got
Yeah.
like the Shredder from the animated series.
Yeah, the
Actually,
purple one?
Yep.
When he's talking all crazy about how much better he is than him and his
and his mother.
his mother.
Yep.
That's the part where I'm like, damn, dude, you're losing it because
Yeah.
he's like, I'm better than you ever were.
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
Well, and then, like I said, he's like constantly laughing in very odd places during
it's
that.
almost like the Joker.
And like when he fails, like he grabs the cord and it breaks and he starts falling. Rather than being
But-
like, oh shit, he's just kind of like, ha ha, yeah, I'm fine, whatever.
Nothing can kill me
Yeah.
anyway.
But why I say though is that I actually ended up loving his insanity is just because I saw so many parallels between him and Mikey where he has lost his grandfather and he's basically
his
on the
mother was
verge. He's
stolen
basically
from him.
on the verge of losing his mother, and his mother was stolen from him. Yeah,
Yeah.
where he's basically everything that has tethered him to the world. He's really lost. So yeah,
Well-
he's in charge of the Foot Soldiers and the Foot Clan, but it's like, but he's got nothing as like security
There's no
to
family
himself.
left.
Yeah, there's no family, and Mikey is in that same predicament where everything that he used to know, everything he used to love, his father, Splinter, the other turtles, April. I mean, Casey has been taken away as well. Like he's lost everything of that, and all he has is basically what remains of April and somewhat, I guess you can consider Fugitoid as well too.
Yeah.
But it's like every other vestige of the past is just gone, and he doesn't have that anymore. So it's like both of these guys are really just, they're in pain. They're just in emotional pain, and this is how they're displaying it. This is how it's coming out.
Well, and it's just there. It's like the complete opposite ends of the spectrum between him and Mike. Because Michelangelo, they even make that reference to that. April talks about survivor's guilt.
Yeah.
Which is that, it's a real thing.
Yeah.
So like, and he's like the complete other side. He's like, I survived because I'm strong.
Yeah.
And Michelangelo's like, why did I survive?
Why am I the only one who survived?
Yeah.
I shouldn't have.
So it's kind of, I can see that. I can see the parallels there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy. Like this is a
Like I
this
said,
was a very
they're
good
reflections
issue.
of each other.
Yeah.
They really are. Can't have one without the other. That's why I
That is
think
a big tank.
That's why I think at the end they've both got to die in order for it to be peace.
Honestly,
Yeah.
that's kind of the way I feel like it might go, is where they'll kill each other. Mm-hmm. But who knows?
But honestly, I mean, just the cliffhanger at the very end, it's like it pulls me in,
Yeah.
and I feel like I've said this in every single issue, but it's the story. It's ideas of a story that were originally drafted by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird, the guys who created the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And so the writing has gone to Kevin Eastman and Tom Waltz, who has done a lot of the IDW TMNT series. So he has kind of been the architect of this most recent storyline. So these two guys are just absolutely crushing it on the story. Great pacing, great everything, and the art in this one.
The multiple styles.
Esau and Isaac Escorza have been doing some of the I think they did like the flashback stuff. Ben Bishop did a lot of the contemporary, like in the present moment, and then obviously Kevin Eastman doing all of the old flashbacks.
Yeah, I really like that.
It just the art blends together so damn well, and you really don't feel like there are certain comic books where you have multiple artists where you can tell the difference between like this panel and this panel where it just doesn't line up, or this page and that page where it's just like, wow, this is a really
great example.
glaring error, or it's like really just noticeable. It's such a blend and so perfect that I honestly could not tell where one art style stopped and the other started. Like it just was. Well, I mean, with exception of Eastman's is so.
Yeah, but at least his
so different, but it makes so much
it's
sense.
A memory.
It does. Yeah, it does. It makes so much sense. So everything is just, and I feel like I'm just overstating it, but it's like it's just everything just is. It is so operatic and just so perfectly balanced.
It's gorgeous.
I love this series.
This will definitely be one that I will probably read through multiple times.
Oh yeah, I've been getting every issue so far. Obviously, you guys have as well. This is one that when it comes to the because obviously when all 5 issues are out, they're gonna do a collected trade paperback where it'll be all 5 of them. I'm gonna buy that too.
Yeah, actually I wouldn't mind having that.
Yeah,
as well.
just having it all in one lump sum, and then because honestly, I would say that is probably the only con of this series is that it has taken them a long time to finish each issue, and so it was I know that in the beginning there was a long delay from when they had announced when it was coming out to when it actually came out.
That was due to the artists, right? They didn't like the artwork.
Yeah, and then there was a big gap between 1 and 2, and then there was an even bigger gap between 2 and 3, and now issue 4 is not slated to come out until I want to say middle of August. So I mean, it's about a couple months. It's about 3 months, and I wouldn't blame them, because issues like that are told in this format in the 48 page. Usually they take about a good 2 months to come out. So I mean, this being 3 months apart, it's not.
This
terrible.
felt like a longer one than the other books,
but it did.
The other 2.
Oh, it sure did.
Yeah. Okay.
And so, so hopefully, they keep the pace consistent, but at the same time, like, I mean, it's just the pacing has been so good that you don't really feel like you're missing anything in between, and like it's very easy to pick up where you left off last.
Oh yeah, 100%. Well, that's all I got for this issue, unless you guys have anything else.
No, I think I kind of dominated this conversation, so
Yeah, I'm alright with that.
I feel bad.
Actually, I do have a question.
Yes.
Who's Jenica?
Jenica?
What's a Jenica?
So Jenica is in the IDW series.
Is she the yellow one?
Yes. She is the yellow turtle.
Because that was the other question I had. Is because in the back of this they have advertisements. They have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Reborn, and they show 5. Obviously, you have the red, the orange, the purple, the blue, but there's a yellow turtle with like claws.
So Jenica
what the fuck's a Jenica?
Jenica was I want to say that she was actually close to Casey Jones. May have been like a somewhat of a girlfriendish.
It's not like a Venus de Milo situation from the
sort of.
Actually, she's
it's more tasteful.
Wait, what did they call her? What was she in Next Mutation? She wasn't a ninja. She was something else.
Oh,
damn it!
Not Shinobi, but
yeah, she was Shinobi.
Oh.
I am Shinobi.
Oh,
that's right.
No.
Venus was
So what
Shinobi.
happened was Jenica was actually injured, and she, in order to survive, I think it was Donnie, gave her a blood transfusion with of his blood, which had
Leo's blood.
Oh, Leo's blood. Okay, so it was Leo's blood. But either way, it had the turtle blood, basically. And so she was able to survive, but she turned into a turtle.
Oh, that's lame.
As a result. And so she actually,
stupid.
so she comes to, and she is literally a turtle, and then she becomes basically the 5th turtle.
Okay. I was just curious.
She was also part of Splinter's Foot Clan.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah,
That's how they met her. I want to say her first appearance was in TMNT number 56. Yeah, she was introduced because, when Splinter took over the Foot Clan after issue 50, she joined through there. So she had some history with the Turtles, which is, it's not just some random person who got injured who... Leo's like, oh, give her my blood. No, she had been close to the Turtles, close to Casey, and so when...
Some of her designs pre-Turtle were badass.
Yeah, and so when she actually got injured, it was like, you felt bad for her, and you wanted her to survive. And I want to say she got injured in 90... It's like the early 90s, and then by, I think, issue 96 is when she, the final panel was she woke up, as a turtle.
Is that series any
She also
good?
dated Casey Jones for a while.
Ew, gross.
That's what I was saying, about Casey. Yeah, she was in a relationship with Casey. So
The Turtles Reborn thing that they have in the back there, is that any good?
it's probably...
It only shows 2 issues.
It's probably let me see the Turtles
Yeah,
Reborn.
It's in the back of it.
It may just be the, From the Ashes and Life After Death. So it's basically just the collected...
Okay.
The collected issues. So
I was just curious.
But yeah,
neat,
that's
so I was curious.
So I mean, honestly, it's a lot more tasteful than just introducing Venus and just telling us that, hey, there's a 5th turtle and it's a female. She literally just came from nowhere.
There just happens to be another turtle.
Yeah. So at least with this, it was tasteful. There was a lead up to it actually happening.
A human who turned into a turtle.
I know,
Weird,
I understand,
stupid.
but it's better. It's better to have been an established character that this happened to than to just give us just a brand new character.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, hot damn, dude. The 3rd last Ronin.
The last Ronin. And issue number 4, like we said, if it is any indication, they have been giving us the
hints.
They have been giving us the spoilers right on the cover, so we can expect to see the storylines of Splinter and of Donatello in issue number 4, and I cannot wait for that issue.
Absolutely, man. I'm pumped up.
Yeah.
So good. Now, hopefully you guys will like it too. Definitely give it a read, even though we kind of spoiled it. You'll still appreciate the artwork.
Oh, yeah.
We obviously don't touch on everything.
Nope.
So I would say if this is the first episode you're listening to,
check out the other
other ones. And
Yeah.
check out, just get this series, because it's super good.
And honestly, even if you've read them before, listen to it. Let us know. Like, does our opinions of it kind of align with what your opinions are? Do you feel the same way about The Last Ronin, or are you of the mindset that it could be better in any single way? Like, just let us know.
Of course, it could be better. We have not seen a turtle eat pizza once.
That's true.
He's got bigger and more important things to worry about.
He's in New York.
Well,
he's been around the world. They don't do pizza like New York.
It's Hiroto's New York. He doesn't like it there.
That's true.
That was kind of an interesting thing too, is they talk about like how New York started to get taken over by Hiroto, and how like they were building the walls due to the increased
the flooding,
the flooding and everything. So it was kind of fascinating backstory of like how New York became.
There's actually one part they kind of just gloss over in that as the walls were getting built up, like gang wars were becoming a problem in the city.
Yeah, in the.
I want to see that.
Yeah,
it's definitely really, really good, and I'm loving it. I loved just the whole idea of it caught me.
Yeah,
you know, I think that's when I brought it up to you guys. I was like, "Well, what is this?" Like when they first announced Last Ronin, and it really caught my eye. I thought it was such a unique concept.
And it's funny because they call this because this is obviously it's bigger than the standard comic book size, so they call this prestige format. And I remember people saying like, "Why did they make this prestige? It's such an odd size. Like you can't put it in a normal bag and board. Why would they do this?" And honestly, as the story has gone so far, I don't think that this could have been told in any other form other than prestige.
Well, it could have, but there would have been more issues. Because some of these issues would have been 2, and then...
Well, yeah, but I feel like the bigger pages, it really does a great job illustrating everything. And I wouldn't want this to be a smaller comic book size. Because you can still have a comic book that's normal standard comic book size, but 48 pages. But this is just, it was meant to be a bigger format.
Oh yeah, all the artwork is gorgeous.
It had to be.
I truly love everything about this. It's so good.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So yes, give us your thoughts, give us your opinions, tell us how wrong we are, as usual, about everything.
You were wrong about issue number 12 in TMNT Volume 1.
Actually.
No, just kidding.
Yes. Yeah, there you go. So hit us up on Facebook.
Hit us up on Twitter.
Go to powertripgaming.tv. We'll take you directly to the YouTube channel where you can watch us plow our way through the 678 NES game library. Fuck!
And you can also... I don't know why. It made me laugh. You can also watch our side quest material where we play games that aren't the NES.
For games that maybe you don't even know about. Have never even heard of, despite their popularity. Or if you don't feel like contacting us through Facebook or Twitter, you can always shoot us an email at nespowertrip@gmail.com.
Yeah, or listen to any of the other episodes that we have on iTunes, Stitcher, or Spotify at the PTG Powercast.
Correct! It's the PTG Powercast!
That is it.
Now you're listening with power!